Good to go.
Thanks, Eric, so much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you coming in. Well, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to all of you, and we welcome you. We will call the regular meeting of the Lawrence County Commissioners to order. Today is Tuesday, November 28th of 2023. We would like to ask if you have any type of an electronic communication device, if you'd please put it on silent or vibrate. We would appreciate that courtesy. We always start our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. And we always have, after we pledge, if you remain standing, we have a moment of silence. We have lost a couple folks who served our community on local school boards in the past. Lee Silverman, a real fine gentleman from Neshannock Township, passed away, and he was on their school board for a number of years. And then down in the Elwood City area, we've lost two gentlemen. One who was currently serving, Gary Rosansky, passed away. And then another fine gentleman, Don Rees, served on the school board many, many years ago. But our thoughts are with all three of those families. We appreciate their service to the community. So if you would please stand, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance and a brief moment of silence. Mr. Burek, could you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you please remain standing, we'll have a moment of silence. Thank you, everyone. Vanessa, could you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Steelvogel? Here. Commissioner Burek?
Present.
Commissioner Vogler?
Here, we have a quorum. We always have two opportunities for public comment, one in just a few moments and then one prior to adjournment. We welcome your comments. We ask that they be related to county government matters. And if you could try to limit your time to about 5 minutes, we appreciate that as well. You're welcome to certainly speak both times or one of the two times, or if you prefer not to speak, that's equally fine. We also set aside time for any of our row officers who might be in attendance to provide information, but today we don't have any of our row officers with us. So that takes us to public comments, and if you do have something you'd like to say, we'll recognize you, and if you could state your name for the record, and then we're happy to listen to what you might have for us. Anybody have a comment at this time? Looks like we don't. But again, we'll have a second opportunity before we adjourn. So thank you all. I would remind everybody that last week we did not hold a commissioners meeting. The three of us were attending the State County Commissioners Association Fall Conference in Dauphin County. And so we've not been in formal session here for 2 weeks. So there are a few things that are a little more lengthy than usual. But let me drop down to the first of those, and those are the warrant registers, which are the documents that are provided to us by the County Controller's Office, listing all of the checks that have been cut and bills that have been paid. And we always vote to accept them after we've reviewed them. These documents are available if anybody wishes to see them. I usually give my packet to Debbie Wachter from the Newcastle News, but Vanessa would have them as well if you'd like to look them over. And speaking of, if the two of you need some time to look over the warrant registers, and whenever you're ready, I could take a motion to accept these documents.
I will move to accept.
I second the motion.
Thank you. Well, it's pretty obvious that Brian and Loretta have looked at them and that Dan hasn't. So give me a second.
They're lengthy, Dan.
Yeah, I know.
I believe they include the payment to our poll workers as well as
Okay.
foster care.
Well, that does have
Yes.
to.
Yeah.
Yep, here they are. Here they are.
Yeah.
Well, if I think we all, oftentimes we look for the bigger ones, the bigger checks that stand out.
None of them stood out.
Okay, great.
None of them stood
Give
out.
me just another 30 seconds. I usually try to do this before the meeting, but obviously today I didn't have that time. Okay, the motion has been made and seconded. Do either of you have any questions or concerns about the warrant registers? Thank you both. We would then take a vote. All those in favor of accepting, I'll ask for a roll call.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Vanessa. Also in our packet are the minutes of the Commissioners' meeting from Tuesday, November 14. And again, give you folks a little time to look them over, and whenever you're ready, I could take a motion to adopt the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you both. Do either of you have any questions or concerns about the minutes?
I have one question. The very first resolution for tax claim, my memory correct? Isn't that the one from Shenango we voted to reject it? The way the minutes read says we approved,
Up at the top.
accepted the bid. Isn't that the one that the township had condemned the property?
Yeah, I'll make that change.
So just correct that due to Shenango Township condemning that property, that the motion was to reject the bid.
Rejecting.
Yeah.
I read right through that.
Thank you for catching that.
I didn't catch it till I read it the second time through, so.
Thank you very much for noting that. You're correct. My memory is that we did vote to reject the bid. Thank you.
Other than that, Vanessa did a super job on commissioner comments. Thank you very much.
Loretta, anything on your side? Anything else?
No.
We have a motion on the floor to adopt the minutes
That's correct.
as corrected.
Corrected.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Vanessa. Thank you, Brian. Under written communications, we have two in our packet. The first is from Shenango Limestone and Storage LLC from North Lima, Ohio. They're advising us, and this letter also advises Shenango Township, that the company is applying to the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection for an air quality plan approval for the Bugle Ridge plant located at 1959 Union Valley Road in Shenango Township. So this document is does go to the DEP, and the law requires that we be made aware of this application. We don't play any formal role in its approval, but they are obligated to make us aware of it. We enter it into the record. The document is signed by Patrick Gray, Vice President of Shenango Limestone and Storage Company. The second document is from Heidelberg Materials of Connellsville, Pennsylvania. And this is also for an application for an air quality operating permit for an existing permit. The company owns the Midland Mine, which is the Bessemer Quarry located in North Beaver Township. And the application is being submitted to the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection, specifically the Meadville office. And this document is signed by Mr. or Ms., I'm assuming Danelle is a woman, I'm gonna make that guess, Zawoski, and I hope I pronounced her name right. She's the environmental manager. So those are the two documents we've received. One of you care to make a motion to accept them?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you both. Any concerns or questions? Hearing none, could you call the roll, Vanessa?
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you so much. Next, we have commissioner reports and comments, and we always take turns providing any updates that we might have. And today, Commissioner Buick, you get to go first.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple things. Since the last meeting, I attended a grants workshop conducted by State Senator Elder Vogel. His staff brought in representatives from multiple state agencies to talk about grant funding opportunities, and I brought back information to share with the county planning office and others. In fact, two of Amy's staff were there at that meeting, Mary and Rebecca. It was good to see them there. I learned a lot about several grant opportunities that could benefit the county and the city of Newcastle. I also attended a meeting down at the University of Pittsburgh. They have a group called the Institute of Politics, and several times a year they invite elected leaders and other nonprofit and education leaders from Western Pennsylvania to get together to discuss topics of mutual interest. And it was interesting, they capped off the day with an awards dinner, and they gave out 2 awards named after the former director of the Institute of Politics, a guy named Mo Coleman. I don't know if you had any dealings with him, but for many years he ran the Institute of Politics in Pittsburgh. And one of the award winners this year was Jim Roddy. When I was commissioner before, Allegheny County, everyone may recall, voted to go away from the 3 commissioners to a single county executive, and Jim Roddy was the first person elected as the single county executive of Allegheny County. Jim's still 90 years old now. He still looks great. Him and his wife been married over 70 years. They were at the dinner, so I got a chance to catch up with Jim. I hadn't talked to him in a number of years, but he's doing great, and he was given an award for, in addition to serving as the first Allegheny County executive, he served on the boards of almost every major nonprofit organization in Allegheny County. He's done a lot for the good of Western Pennsylvania, so just wanted to note that. I participated in the holiday parade held in downtown Newcastle on November 18th. It was a great turnout this year, both by organizations participating in the float. It was great to see the crowd, 3, 4, 5 people deep, all up and down East Washington Street. So I know you guys were both in Hershey already for the conference, but great turnout for the parade. All the county schools, high school schools in Lawrence County, the bands participated, and many nonprofit groups. And in fact, 2 of our judges, Judge Motto and Judge Acker, were 2 of the judges of the floats in the parade. So great event for the city and the county. And then finally, I attended the CCAP fall conference, which you were both at as well. It was great to see a lot of my colleagues from around the state. 2 or 3 of the commissioners that were first elected when I was first elected back in 1995 were at this conference, and they're now retiring. So I attended several workshops, learned a lot that helped the county, but also it was good to see a lot of colleagues. I'm sure you feel the same. CCAP is a chance for commissioners around the state to get together and learn from experts, learn best practices, but also a chance to network with other county commissioners, learn about what they're going through, things that work, things that didn't work in their county, and form friendships and good relationships with their fellow commissioners. It was good to see everybody at the conference. I will miss those greatly. That's one of the great things about being a commissioner, getting to meet and learn from people statewide that work in county government. So those are my comments today, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you so much, Brian. I appreciate it. And I'll echo your thoughts about the County Commissioners Association. Our county's been very active in that association, and it does provide a great deal of benefits as far as probably similar to the state township association. You make friends all over the Commonwealth, and
Steal their ideas.
the good ones, hopefully. And if you're wondering why am I pointing to this gentleman, Mr. Bishop, who's with us, is a Plain Grove Township supervisor, a long time Plain Grove Township
Since
supervisor.
'89.
Wow, that's great. They must like you out in Plain Grove Township.
Nobody else runs for it.
And you still do such good work. So dedicated. Yes, very dedicated.
But this particular conference was a little bit bittersweet because, as Brian mentioned, you're saying goodbye to some of the folks who are leaving, and friendships that you've made. But there were also a lot of hellos. I had the chance, I think we all did. Mercer County is getting 2 new commissioners, and one of whom I've known for a long time, but the one gentleman, Mr. Finley, I'd never met before. And we had an opportunity to sit with one another at a dinner and get to know each other, because we'll work closely with one another. So there were a lot of hellos and a lot of goodbyes. The only other thing I'll note is that later this week on Friday, the county, as you know, is a member of the Northwest Pennsylvania Regional Planning Commission, and I currently chair that board of directors. I'll serve as chair until the middle of the year when my term expires on that as chair. But we're meeting on Friday up in Venango County, and again, a lot of commissioners attend that and get to deal with those folks. So I'll be driving up to Franklin on Friday morning. Those are my comments, and I'll turn it over to Commissioner Spill.
Just a few, just to add to what the both of you have said. for the last couple of years, I know Dan and I both have missed the parade, but it's always that light up night is that Saturday before, and being part of the board at CCAP, you have to be there a day ahead of time for different things in the business that needs to be acted upon. But being there this time around, I was one of the goodbyes. There were 75 changeovers in different counties across Pennsylvania. But again, as a commissioner, and hopefully, you know, Dan and Chris coming in, they choose to continue to be part of CCAP. The networking is phenomenal. And the fact that, you know, maybe people don't realize CCAP drives the policies moving forward to the legislature, to the Senate for Pennsylvania. These are our priorities. And at this business meeting that we had, we did vote on what are the priorities that we feel as county commissioners that we need to reach out to our representatives and our senators. And although there hasn't been anything official coming out, each one of the committees, I chair the Courts and Corrections Committee, so we had to present what we thought our committee, what our priority would be. If then the entire organization votes on that. So there were approximately, I think, 16 different priorities that were presented for voting at our business meeting last Tuesday. We haven't received an official announcement from CCAP yet, but I am hopeful that 911 funding, which we are adamant about, and we have raised our voices loud and clear, and we have let people know in Harrisburg that what is happening is unacceptable, and we need our 911 systems funded, and they need to be funded so that we can get people in and keep those phones answered. And we have been heard on that in that arena. Also, you know, the mental health crisis that we're facing, the juvenile detention bed crisis, every county is facing that. Then we have the, you know, the violent offender juveniles, but there's nowhere to place them. They're back in our communities with ankle bracelets and, you know, very easy to get out of. They try to do what they can do to continue doing what they do, and then place risks in our communities. So that's definitely a high priority. You know, the agricultural committee, our economic development committee, our broadband, you know, we have different task forces. There's so much going on and happening that we drive and move forward to the legislators that, you know, people may not realize that. So I'm hopeful that in the future that, Dan, I know you will continue, and that Chris and Dan Kennedy will also choose to take part and be active in it. Because yes, it's nice to get places, to go places, but you really to learn, it's always learning, a learning experience. For the opioids, we learned that there will be a settlement next year with Walmart as well. And there will be more money coming in there. So at least it gives you information that you can think about in the future where those dollars could be spent or what could be done with it. So that's where you get the information. That's where you get to steal the good ideas, and then they also, you know, you get told that we tried that and it did not work. Let's work on perfecting it or something. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a nice goodbye. We always loved staying in Hershey, and it was a wonderful experience. Every bit of CCAP I absolutely loved. So I was glad to be there to say goodbye. But I looked at the videos and the pictures of the parade and was sad to miss that because it was a great evening. It was, yeah. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, can I have one additional minute,
Of course.
please? I want to just thank and commend both you and Loretta. And it's been said before, but I think it's very important for the people of Lawrence County to understand the role that they both played in CCAP. And being at this conference, the respect that both of them have statewide. Dan has been for several years the District 2 representative, which is the southwestern Pennsylvania counties. And because of that, he served on the CCAP executive board. And as Loretta said, she served as the chair of the courts. Put in a tremendous amount of time. In addition to the boards they're on here in Lawrence County, the work they do every day in the courthouse, the regional boards they serve on, SPC, Northwest Commission, they've both been active statewide. And I just want to commend and thank you both for doing that. And you've contributed greatly to the better county government in Pennsylvania. So thank you both. It's going to be a loss. You're stepping down as the District 2 chair, and you won't be returning, but you both served CCAP very well, and I commend you. Thank you both.
Very kind of you, thank you.
Yes.
All right, appreciate your comments. And that takes us now to new business, and we have some resolutions to consider, starting with public safety. Chad Strobel, our public safety director, is with us. And Chad, welcome, and if you'd like to come up. Vanessa, what resolution will this be, number?
434.
434. Chad, it's always nice to have you here, and you have a proposal for, I believe, a contract with a company known as OnSolve LLC, but I'll let you fill us in on what this is all about.
Yeah, this will be to continue our contract with OnSolve LLC. We use one of their products called Code Red as our mass public notification system. Also, notification for internal teams for incidents, calling out employees, sending out messages to our amateur radio team, our groups that work with the nuclear power plant. The price this year is expected, it went up a little bit, $8,894, but that allows us 35,000 minutes of cellular, telephone, unlimited text, emails, access to the IPAWS integrated public alert and warning system, which allows us to send out messages to everybody's phones, the TVs, the radio stations, to touch as many people as we can with emergency messages. We did utilize it a couple of weeks ago. We had a 911 outage in Enid Valley.
Yeah.
So we utilized that to hit people's cell phones, also access to email, Facebook, and just get that message out. There was a temporary interruption in 911 service and how they could get a hold of emergency services if needed. We used it earlier in the spring, I believe it was spring, May, possibly for the missing gentleman out in Shenango Township, the elderly gentleman that went missing from a care home. We did a kind of called a geofence area where we can access those people in that immediate area and want to look out for that gentleman. So we use it. We try not to use it too much. We don't want to cause any complacency or another message from the 911 center. Just ignore that. So we pick and choose when we use it, but it's worked well for us over the last few years. So we'd like to continue our contract with them and keep that service available. Also, we're bound by the state to have some type of mass notification system in place. And this fits our needs, and it's used by the state in various counties around our county. So,
Chad, I appreciate the explanation. I only have one quick question. Is it a one-year contract to your knowledge?
yes, they're
Okay.
yearly.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Spielvogel, do you have any questions for Chad?
I do not.
Mr. Burek?
Just one curious question. Is this the same company that provides, like when the state police do an Amber Alert that hits everybody's phone, or is that a different company that provides this?
We use this program to access that. They use the emergency alert system, Comlabs emergency alert system. We have that terminal as well. So that's kind of in a room where we receive those messages. This is the actual author of those messages. We have access to that IPAWS system through here, but I believe they go straight through what we call the EAS terminal. But the state, FEMA does utilize Code Red to send out their messages. During, I think the last time they used it was during the pandemic when the administration put on a message for personal safety, so.
That was my only other question. So this is Lawrence County specific, but say there was an incident that affected multiple counties, you would reach out to PEMA to do an alert for multiple
Correct,
counties. If there was, say there was an incident at Beaver Valley Nuclear Power Plant or something like that, PEMA would activate that notification.
That's correct, yeah. We're not allowed to originate weather messages. That's held by the National Weather Service and FEMA. Also, we're not allowed to do Amber Alerts. That's maintained for the state police, but anything internally within the boundaries of Lawrence County will do. If it has to extend beyond Lawrence County, correct, we call FEMA and they would author the message and disseminate it.
Thank you for that explanation.
Absolutely. Given all of that, may I have a motion then for us to consider proposed resolution 434?
So moved.
That's second.
Thank you both. Any other comments or concerns? Ask for a roll call, please.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Burek?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes?
Motion carries.
Thank you so much. Chad, I know you have to move along. I do want to note, we have, you'll be hearing from the other two. We have three of our department heads with us today. Mr. Strobel and J.R. Hardister, Chief Assessor, and Amy McKinney, our Planning Director. We are blessed, along with a lot of our department heads, so many of our department heads throughout the county, but you're seeing three top-notch professionals here who are well respected around the Commonwealth. Not just in Lawrence County, but all three of them are respected around the Commonwealth, and that says a lot for them. So
Thank you, sir.
I wanted you to hear that before you headed out the door.
Yes.
Thank you.
So-
Appreciate
Before you
that.
go get beat up at work.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Chad.
you, Chad,
Thank you
for
all.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
The next proposed resolution is 435, and this involves our planning office, and that's Amy McKinney. And Amy, good morning to you. If you'd like to, we're here to talk a little bit about the broadband study that has been undertaken over the last number of months through Michael Baker International, with whom we have a contract, and Mr. Bishop has been part of our community advisory committee, very active in that. We thank you for your time and your effort and your input. Your input's been very valuable, Jeff. But with that, Amy, I'll let you start, and then you can do all the introductions and give us all the information that you'd like to share.
Sure. Yeah, like you said, we are here today to finally, and hopefully the commissioners will approve our Lawrence County Link Up Lawrence broadband expansion study that we worked with Michael Baker. And we have Courtney and Joe from Michael Baker today. We've been working with them since February.
You add their last names for the record, please.
McCurdy and Bizarre. I'm not even gonna try.
Bizarre.
I know, right?
BZOREK.
And Courtney, I'm sorry, what was your last name?
ACCURTI.
Okay.
Two easy ones.
Please, go ahead.
Yeah, no, so the county entered into a contract with Michael Baker back in February, so we've been working on this pretty extensively since February. My staff and Michael Baker, we have calls bi-weekly. We've done a lot of public meetings. We've had a great steering committee, which Mr. Bishop has been a part of, so it's been a pleasure to work with him and the other members of the steering committee. So thank you for being here today. But with that, I'm gonna turn it over to Courtney. She's gonna kind of do a little overview here of what we've done and what you will be hopefully approving today.
Thank you so much, Amy. So as you know, this started with your vision to have a better understanding of access, service, and sentiment in relation to broadband throughout Lawrence County. So we took that vision and worked with, your planning and community development staff and LOC staff to really develop an approach that would reach all aspects of the county. Big part of that was the task force, and Jeff Bishop was a significant part of contributing to that, just as other local officials were, a number of nonprofits, key departments within the county, and other nonprofits, other organizations that were deemed to be appropriate around that table were very helpful and informative for us to develop the plan, additionally giving us information and helping us to amplify the work that was being done, because a key part of the public engagement component was a survey that helped us understand, that gave us that little additional insight about what people were actually experiencing. We were also able to get results from a speed test about that. Additionally, while that was going on in the background, we had staff who were conducting, along with your staff, industry interviews with internet service providers in the county to get a better understanding of really kind of what they're doing right now, trying to gain some insights about what they might be looking to do in the future. Non-disclosure agreement was helpful to gain some of those insights that we might not have been able to get otherwise. And also explore whether or not there would be partnership opportunities in the future. Additionally, there was a lot of research done to gather information about what's currently available in regards to service and speeds. And the ultimate product is the broadband expansion study that we're going to present to you for your vote today. And what it does is outline, a little bit of everything that we did to this point, but it also lays the groundwork for what you can do in the future. Through the work with the task force, we identified a number of priorities for the county that will help, guide your work into the future to help get everyone connected. But it also identifies what are in the report connectivity opportunity areas. There are these spots where we really know access is needed in the county. So that gives you some ideas of projects for the future, but for the immediate idea of what you can do, we carved some out and identified them as early action projects. We coupled a few of those connectivity opportunity areas that are regionally, in regional proximity to one another, and think that they'll be palatable to put out through an RFP to help bring service to those areas. So those two components, as connectivity opportunity areas and that the early action projects, are really kind of that the meat of the report that are going to give you some of that guidance moving into the future. It will shift some, as projects do get completed, as the FCC continues to update its maps. But the expansion study as it stands right now is a snapshot of the work that's been done and what can be done in the future to further expand internet access for everyone in Lawrence County. So, open to any questions you may have.
There are some documents over there too, and I think each of you should have in your packet all these documents, but anybody here would like to take a copy of it, they're more than welcome to, and we can also send it out to anybody that wants it as well.
Well, we thank you both. Courtney, I have a question for you, and I'll try to phrase it in a way that it doesn't violate your non-disclosure agreements that you might have with existing providers. How optimistic are you that those providers have plans possibly in the works to undertake certain expansions? Do you see that as possibly happening?
Yes, I do see it as possibly happening. I have not seen those direct notes, but what I do know is that when we were taking a look at the connectivity opportunity areas to make the suggestions for the early action projects, that was taken into consideration. We wanted to have a good understanding of what some of those plans might be in the more immediate future. Additionally, what we were able to learn about some of the applications that may be going in for grant funding. We know that that doesn't mean that they are going to get, grant funds in this first round, but we do know that means that a number of these areas certainly are on the internet service provider's radar. With the federal funding that is coming into the Commonwealth, there are immense opportunities coming within, the next several years to really help spur that investment to help make those expansion projects a reality. So the reality of it is we know it won't happen overnight. The projects will take time to really kind of get going and get the infrastructure laid, but the opportunity exists, and it is a very real opportunity to see these projects come to fruition and be a short, immediate, and long-term future.
I appreciate your response. I have one other question before I turn it over to Commissioner Burek and then Commissioner Stilvogel. Assuming my colleagues wouldn't object, I'm thinking it might be advantageous if you would be willing to do so, to send a copy of this document to our 2 state senators and our 2 state House members for their information, assuming you don't have a problem with that. If you wouldn't mind doing that for us, we greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Brian, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't have any questions. I've been participating in most of the bi-weekly calls for the last six to 7 months. I just want to give out some thank yous. Thank you to the Michael Baker staff for your professionalism throughout this project. Thank you to Amy and her team in the Planning and Development Office for their time. They put them into this on top of all their other duties and responsibilities. And thankfully, I want to echo your comments. Thank Mr. Bishop. Thank you for 2 things. For your 34 plus years of service as a township supervisor. When I was commissioner before and I got to work with many township supervisors, I always told people the only job tougher than being a county commissioner is being a township supervisor, because you have to do the work day in and day out, and you're close to the people and all the complaints and problems that come to you. And so I commend you for your years of service, but especially for what you did. You went out and reached out to the schools, the people in your municipality, and I greatly appreciate what you did, and I know the whole task force does as well. So thank you for being here today. Thank you for all you did, and hopefully your township is one of the areas that we're going to focus on getting expanded broadband access. So I hope your township residents benefit, and I hope the county as an overall, more and more people in the county get the broadband access that they need and deserve. So commend the whole team.
Thank you, sir. Loretta?
I will echo the same and say that getting ready, it's been said time and time and time again, we have $1.1 billion that is going to be accessible to municipalities, to counties across the Commonwealth. And this team, I had a minimal understanding of the workings at the beginning, but knowing and participating in the calls and the task force, that Michael Baker has done an excellent job. Amy, your staff, always excellent job. Going down even to Plaingrove, Mr. Bishop, the early bird gets the worm, right? So all of that work that you did, you knew something was going to happen, and you knew that your constituents needed that access. And so by working the way that you did, being so diligent, and then participating with everything, it just was a no-brainer to walk right into Plaingrove and say, this is, going to be one of our areas that we are going to use as a pilot or as that first steps. But we needed to do this. We needed to have it because, again, we've been told that you have to have a plan in place. You have to be working with your areas, with your service providers, and be ready to hit the ground running, because that money is going to come and it's going to go. And we need to hit the ground running and get what we deserve for Lawrence County and our region. So thank you, Michael Baker, the staff, the team, Amy, Supervisor Bishop, and everyone here in our county government for doing it. Looking forward to seeing it coming to fruition. I'll be on the other side of the table, but I will still be looking forward to it.
Thank you very much. I would be remiss if I didn't. Joe, do you have anything you wish to add?
No, the only thing I would like to add is, through these processes, and I've got to see it from, both sides, one's working for, a cable company directly, and one's working from your view. One of the things that needs echoed and mentioned is your guys' vision, actually puts the pieces, like there's always been a missing piece of the puzzle, and that was the communication between the local townships and those ISPs and the local government and the ISPs. What these programs do is they actually bridge those gaps and opens up those line of communications. And it's easier to express, the needs and your guys' vision and partner with those ISPs, the internet providers, and just bring that together and just, having those conversations and identifying those areas. So that's, I just want to say thank you to you guys for seeing that, and because it is a big help. So thank you. That's all I have.
Appreciate your comments and your help. And Mr. Bishop, I don't want to put you on the spot, but give you a chance if you wish to say anything.
Well, COVID is what really started the communication issue out in our area, because the number of students that had to work from home and did not have communication. I got in the library and I got in touch with each other, and they did have units that they could loan out to the kids for stuff like that. I don't know how many was used out there. But after COVID let up and I retired from my full-time job, gave me the opportunity to go around and look. And I've had a lot of communication with the right people at Comcast, the upper echelon, and with Armstrong about what was needed out there. And I learned an awful lot about it isn't just running the cable with the fiber optics down the road. It also has to do with power line or power poles, telephone poles, and right-of-ways. So it's a pretty in-depth project to get all that done. Working with Michael Baker through Amy and that has been a pleasure, because they're asking the right questions, they're listening to the stuff given to them. So this has been a nice process the whole way through. I'm also part of the Northwest group on the broadband up there, and they're not having nearly the success that we are here in Lawrence County. So Lawrence County has done a fantastic job going through it and getting as far as they have as quick as they can. So thank you to all you guys.
Well, thank you again, and I'll say this, not only is Plain Grove Township fortunate to have you, the whole county is fortunate to have you. So thank you, Jeff.
Absolutely.
Amy, do you have any closing, or Courtney, anything before we move forward?
I just want to thank you for the opportunity to work with all of you, both elected and the staff. It's been a great opportunity for me personally as well as our company, and thank you.
You're most welcome. Amy?
Yes.
And, well, like I said before, we've had a wonderful time working with Michael Baker, so it's been a pleasure. It's been a very easy process for us, and they've made things a lot easier for our staff in, putting this together, and helping us understand as well what the county needs. So it's been great, and very appreciative of, the efforts of the commissioners have, allowed us to do this. So we just appreciate you vote yes, so we can move forward and start getting stuff done. Great.
Well, with that, I think we'd better take her advice.
Yes.
Uh,
Sure, I'll move
Yes.
the approval of resolution 435.
I will second.
And again, the proposal adopts officially the broadband expansion study that has been submitted to us. And I noticed you do have a press release attached, which is
Yes.
going to be going out.
Yes.
Thank you for that. Any closing concerns from either Loretta or Brian? None. Okay, thank you. We have the motion to adopt. We'll do a roll call, please.
Commissioner Steelvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Buick,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. It's official. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you guys so much. Thank you.
Courtney and Joe and even Mr. Bishop, you are very welcome to stay. If you have to move along, we understand. We appreciate your being here today.
Thank you so much.
Amy, though, you do have to stay because we have another.
I have one more thing, yes.
Okay, we're gonna look at proposed resolution 436. This involves the community development block grant COVID dollars. And I'll let you fill us in on what this proposal is, please.
Yeah, so 2 weeks ago, I was here for the budget amendment, so this is just to amend our contract with LCSS, so that we can pay them the remaining amount, so very simple. The budget amendment was approved, we have the final invoice from LCSS, and so we just need to amend this so we can pay them and close that project out.
Thank you, and Loretta, do you have any questions for Amy?
I don't know how she keeps it all straight. Go ahead.
Mr. Burek, any questions for Amy? I could then take a motion to approve proposed resolution 436.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you both. If there are no other comments, I'll ask Vanessa to call the roll.
Commissioner Steelvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Buick,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you so much, Vanessa, and Amy, as always.
Thank you guys, appreciate
Enjoy
it.
the hard
Thank you.
work.
Thank you.
Take care.
Good to see you.
We introduced our assessor, J.R. Harvester, and J.R., we're glad to have you, of course. And if you'd like to come forward, you have a proposed resolution number 437, which is a compromise settlement. I'll let you fill us in on what this involves.
Thank you. But before I get into the resolution, Commissioner, Chairman, I want to at least thank you for the kind words that you gave to myself and my fellow staff members, Amy and Chad. Well, with that being said, I got to thank not only you, this board, but all the past boards for allowing your staff to attend our events, to become more known throughout the Commonwealth. We're lucky to where not a lot of counties allow their staffs to do that, but you guys have, in the past boards, have been gracious to allow us. It is a very great opportunity for us to learn, like you guys do the CCAP, the networking, and what other counties do to better educate us. So again, I want to thank you for giving us that opportunity.
You're most
You're
welcome.
welcome. You make us look good.
That's true.
We try. So in front of you is a compromise settlement agreement with multiple parcels all owned by the same entity, which is Dawn Enterprises Incorporated. The three properties, I will just identify them as the more commonly known name. The first one on the resolution that has a parcel number 03-018500 is the former Four Brothers Restaurant, now commonly known as Cornerstone Restaurant. The second parcel, 03-033000, is the building that is adjacent to it, that was part of the restaurant, and I don't know what Dawn is currently using that for. The third parcel is across the street, has the parcel number 04145700. That is the Packard Paint building. The fourth one down, 03113300 and 03113200 is the former Napa building on Croton Avenue, which is now Dawn Reclaim. The first one is the building and the second one is the parking lot. So those are the 5 properties. These were appealed last in 2022's annual assessment appeal timeframe. They appealed it up to court, and a compromise settlement agreement was actually between the taxing bodies agreed to back in March, but it took some time to get it ratified by the 3 taxing bodies. And before Dan asked me the question, the other 2, the school board and the city, has already approved the resolution. So I typically wait to come to you last, knowing that's Dan, one of Dan's questions. So just to give a little bit of a summary of it, the current assessment on these 5 properties is $425,300. As you can see, it's going to go down to $316,848 split between the 5 properties. That is an assessment loss of $108,452, which in county tax dollars is $901 per year. The taxing bodies agreed basically good negotiation between Dawn and the 3 taxing bodies. Wasn't worth the return on investment to get 5 commercial appraisals for a minimum reduction at this amount. We thought it was a fair treatment of all parties involved.
Appreciate that helpful background and just note that the parcels that Mr. Hardister referenced are all within the city limits, the Newcastle city limits, which meant that, as he noted, the other 2 taxing bodies are the city of Newcastle and the Newcastle area school district. And correct me if I'm wrong, but what would have initiated this would have been Dawn Enterprises filing an appeal with the county's Board of Assessment Appeals. And Dawn apparently was not satisfied with their decision and then took it to court. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Dawn did appeal other properties in the same time frame, but they did not appeal those ones up to court. So they must have either satisfied with the ruling or did not feel that they had a strong enough case.
I see. And they're within their rights to do that. Any taxpayer who files an assessment appeal with the Assessment Appeal Board, if they're not satisfied with that decision, their next step, if they so choose, is to take it to the Court of Common Pleas. And that's what's happened here.
That's correct. And to go one step further, every property owner has the right every year to challenge its assessment. So it's just not Dawn or any other person in the city or business. Every property owner has that right every year if they want to.
Sure. The law allows that. Commissioner Burek, do you have questions or thoughts for Mr. Hardister?
No questions. He explained it thoroughly. Thank you very much, Jay.
Thank you. And Loretta?
Just a clarification, the difference for the counties is $901 a year.
Yes. And that's for all 5.
It's interesting, it's such a small amount of over 100,000.
And if you don't mind,
No, please.
because your question triggered, my recollection is of the 3 taxing bodies, the county's share here would be the lowest. Is that correct?
That is correct.
The school district and the city taxes are higher.
Yeah,
Am I
that's
right? Okay.
By wide margins.
And Commissioner Spielberger, just understand, a mill is $1 for every $1,000 in assessment. So we have 8 mills, so at $100,000, that's $800 for.
Anything else, Loretta?
No.
Okay, thank you. Well, could I have then a motion for proposed resolution 437?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you both. If there are no other questions, Vanessa, could you call the roll?
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Buick,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you so much. JR,
Thank you,
you're
JR.
very welcome to stick around, but I'm sure you have things upstairs that are pressing, so thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Take care. Next on our agenda is proposed resolution 438. And this involves our Children and Youth Services Office. Throughout the Commonwealth, most CYS Children and Youth Services offices do have a solicitor, an attorney who assists with matters involving that office. Recently, solicitor attorney Nora DeBuono submitted her resignation to us. She's moving on to another position elsewhere. And we have reviewed this and have had conversations and have reached a conclusion, but not an official one until we vote on this, to appoint attorney John Bongivengo as the CYS solicitor. And his salary will be based upon existing salary board resolutions as it relates to that position. So this resolution would in fact appoint Mr. Bongivengo as the solicitor. Let me see if Loretta has any questions.
No.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Garrett?
Mr. Chairman, just one question. Doesn't the resolution, should it not specify that this is retroactive to November 6th? My understanding is Solicitor DeBuono's resignation was effective
Right.
November 1st. And I believe Mr. Bongivengo did start helping out or reviewing cases earlier this month. So I believe the resolution should be is hereby appointed solicitor for CYS effective November 6th, 2023. Is that not the date that we had discussed?
My recollection, it is, Joe, Loretta, Vanessa, is
Yes.
that your
Yes.
Just add the words effective 11/6/23.
Thank you for noting that. We will do so, assuming, Loretta, you're okay with
I'm
that?
fine with that. Thank you for that clarification.
November 6th, 2023 is the effective
Just don't let
date.
the controller's office to say we can't pay him back to when he actually started, so.
All right.
I'm so glad you caught that.
And so I'll move for the adoption of resolution 438 as corrected.
Second.
Thank you both. Any
Yes.
any other comments? Hearing none, we'll take a roll call, please.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Buick,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. The next item, proposed resolution 439. This is one I feel bad about. We received correspondence from one of the members of the Lawrence County Housing Authority Board of Directors, Mr. Rick Myers, who is a resident of the borough of Elwood City. He's submitting his resignation to us effective the end of this calendar year. Rick is the fire chief in Elwood City Borough. A little bit of background. The Housing Authority is not a county agency. People that work there are not employed by the county. The county does not provide any funding to the Housing Authority. But federal law does stipulate that the Board of Commissioners has the responsibility to appoint the 5 members who serve on their board of directors. That's where our role begins and ends. We appoint those folks, and that's all we do. The law stipulates that one of the 5 members must be a resident of one of the Housing Authority's facilities. We've adhered to that. We have a woman who's been serving for quite some time, Ms. Ernestine Wise. Most of the Housing Authority's facilities are in the city of Newcastle. However, there are 2 facilities in the borough of Elwood City. Crescent Place and the, I always say Walnut Ridge, but the area up above the old hospital in the 5th Ward down there. So traditionally, it's just been a tradition. We've always tried to have one of the 5 board members be from Elwood City Borough, since they do have a couple of units down there. And Mr. Myers, as noted, resides down there, and he has been serving, but he's asking to step aside. So the purpose of this resolution is to accept his resignation. Later in the meeting, we will announce the opening and the fact that we will accept letters of interest. But for right now, we have to take action to accept his resignation. And I think I would speak for the both of you saying, we're doing this reluctantly. He's a good man,
Yes.
and he's done a good job, but we respect the fact that he wishes to step aside. So, Brian, any comments?
No, I move for the adoption of resolution 439.
Thank you.
Second.
Second from Loretta, and Loretta, do you have any comments?
I don't, other than to echo what you say. That he has been an asset, he remains an asset to the Elwood City area, and we're sorry to see him go.
Very much so. He is a really good man.
Yes.
The motion has been made to accept Mr. Meyer's resignation. That resignation is effective December 31, 2023. Do either of you object? We probably should, Joe or Vanessa, we should probably send a letter to Ms. Greenwood, I didn't say Gerd, thank you, Holly. Holly, I'm sorry, Girdwood,
Yes.
I'm sorry. We should probably send correspondence to her advising her officially of Mr. Meyer's resignation.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other comments or discussion?
No.
My apologies to Holly for mispronouncing her last name. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you all. We have a proposed transfer number 440. This is from the Commissioner's Office and the Maintenance Department specifically. We need to purchase an additional supply of copy paper. And what this transfer will do to allow for that to happen, it will take $11,000 from the solicitor's contracted services line item and transfer it into that of maintenance materials and supplies. Is there a motion for us to do this?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Are there questions? Mr. Burek?
I know Vanessa works on a lot of things, including procurement. What, our paper costs went up by how much roughly this year? I know it was significant.
Yeah, I don't have the exact figure.
Was it like
Our monthly, I'd say we were approximately every month. Pre-COVID, it was maybe $6,000, $5,500. But every year it's gone up since then. $11,000 is actually a slight decrease. We shopped around quite a bit to get it down to 11. A lot of places went 15, 14.
Frank Vicari
Yeah.
orders the paper for us, so.
I think it went up double-digit increase.
Right.
Oh, yeah,
So
Yes.
we all know about food and energy costs, but even copy
Right.
paper has gone through the roof. So I just wanted to make that note.
I will pass along, it might make you chuckle. Judge Motto, our president judge, right after he became president judge almost 20 years ago, over 20 years ago, or almost 20 years ago, said to me that he would be very frugal. And he's a man of his word. I got a memo from him a couple of weeks ago, and the memo looked like this. And there was typewritten material on the back, and I looked at that, and it had nothing to do with what was on the front. What he will do periodically is if he has some documents he no longer needs, but if they're blank on the one side, he'll copy things on them so that he saves on paper. So I appreciate Judge Motto's frugality. Anyhow, other comments on this matter?
Well, Mr. Chairman, just a thought, an idea for your consideration. It's near the end of the year. I won't be here, but I don't know if Vanessa and Joe like this idea. Some municipal and county government bodies, what they do is they put up a laptop or a computer monitor at each station, and instead of every week, Vanessa has to run off copies of our packets, which ends up being, dozens and dozens and dozens of pages. But you guys at the new board, some people, I like paper, but the
Right.
possibility exists that all these resolutions, instead of making multiple copies, can have one packet for the press, but also do it electronically, and then even have stuff on the projected on the screen, so that every week we would use less copy paper just in our commissioner meetings. Just an idea to consider for future
The
reference.
reason I'm looking at Vanessa, I think we did that for a while.
I think Carol did that.
Carol McDonald, but I think,
Yeah,
and I don't want to throw Commissioner Del Sigma under the bus, but I think he preferred the paper,
There were,
if my
yeah.
memory is correct.
Just a thought, you can run it past the two new commissioners. Me, if I was gonna be here another 4 years, I would be happy having all these resolutions on the screen in front of me as we vote on each one. And then we could even make corrections, like,
Right.
adding words or deleting words electronically rather than keep making paper copies. Even though I'm old school, it would save money over time. But
Yeah.
I'll defer to the new board if they wish to pursue that option.
Thank you.
Bob was right from the generation where you get pregnant on a computer in front of you.
That's
Right.
true. He was a good man.
He was.
Yes.
Just sometimes the older generation's not comfortable with new technology.
Loretta, any thoughts?
No.
Okay, this transfer is number 440. Do I need a motion, Vanessa?
We have
We have the motion in a second. Thank you. May I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. The next resolution is proposed number 441. It is a transfer in the amount of $3,550, and we're taking it all from the solicitor's line item. Thank you both for joining us. It's good to
Thank
see
you,
you.
always
and
good to see you.
Stay warm. I see you've got
Yes.
your winter jacket. You need it today.
Yes.
It's brisk out there. Did you folks, I know we're not down to public comment yet. Was there anything that you wish to say?
There was one thing, I forget what it is now. Oh, the Dawn,
Dawn Services.
those places that you mentioned, the Packard and the Four Brothers and so, are they going to no longer be private businesses? Dawn is taking them over?
Now, Dawn currently owns them, and if I'm not mistaken, they are the landlord
For the landlords and
of
the
those businesses.
businesses that are in their rent. Now, Dawn does own Dawn Reclaim, where the Napa building is, but where the new restaurant, the Cornerstone, where it's at, they pay rent.
Now, he usually fixes things up. Now, shouldn't the taxes go up?
Say that
I think
again.
they did go up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
They appealed what the assessment
Okay.
was,
all right.
and then they didn't like what the answer came from the assessment appeals board, so they appealed it to common pleas. Yes, that's what this is the real result of, yes, because there were so many improvements that were done.
Okay, thank you.
well, thank you both. Take care.
You too.
This transfer, it totals $3,550. It's all coming from the solicitor's contracted services line item. $2,000 of it is going into Judge Russo's maintenance and repairs line item for his office in Shannick Township. And $1,550 is also going to his line item out there for monthly rent and fees. May I have a motion for this proposal, 441?
So moved.
Is there a second? Is there a second? I'll
I
offer.
move.
I'll offer the second.
Okay.
And is there discussion? Hearing none, we'll do a roll call.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Buick,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes,
motion carries.
thank you. Next on the agenda is proposed resolution 442. This involves a transfer from the maintenance department's contingency line item to assist the courts. $980 is going into the court's jurors line item. $3,000 will be going into District Judge Omodi's part-time line item. And $6,000 will go towards the court's subscriptions line item. The total amount of the transfer is $9,980. This is resolution 442. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you both. Any questions or concerns? Hearing none, we'll do a roll call, please.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Buick,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. Next is resolution 443. We're taking $5,000 from the maintenance materials and supplies line item into that of the court-appointed attorney's line item. Again, the amount is $5,000. Is there a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you both. Comments or concerns? Hearing none, we'll do a roll call, please.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Buick,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. The next transfer is all coming from maintenance, materials, and supplies. Of that, $2,436.64 is going into the Commissioner's Staples line item, Staples being the office supply company. $35.70 is going towards the Coroner's Staples line item. $672, and I think that's 7 cents?
17.
Oh, 17,
Mhm.
excuse me, thank you. Is going to the district attorney's Staples line item. And $1,361.13 is is going to the prothonotary staples line item. The total amount of the transfer is $4,505.64. Is there a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you both. Comments or concerns?
No.
Hearing none, we'll do a roll call, please.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Buick,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. Next, again, all of this is coming from maintenance, materials, and supplies. It's going as follows. $492.13 is going to the district attorney's access/storage line item. Access land and building. I left that part out. $238.76 is going to the voters' access land and building line item. $69.44 is going to human resources access land and building. And $345.58 is going to the courts access land and building, total being $1,145.91. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you both. Any questions or concerns?
No.
Okay, we'll do a roll call, please.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Buick,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes?
motion carries.
Thank you, Vanessa. The next number of transfers are administrative transfers. I'm going to walk us through them. Hope you're willing to take them as a group, one motion for all of them. However, as I go through them, stop me if you have any questions. The first is for juvenile probation. They are requesting a $1,000 transfer from their contingency into that of their telephone and internet line item. District Judge Amodi is asking for a $570 transfer from her contingency into that of lease and rental. Am I to assume that that's also for storage? Since she made, or did,
No, sometimes it's coffee machines.
oh, that's right, that's right.
Postage machines,
Gotcha.
things of that nature.
Because, I mean, she's housed here in this building, so when my first thought was, well, who's she paying rent to? But yeah, lease, I got it, thank you. Any other questions on this one? Thank you. Next, from Public Safety, they are requesting $1,212 from their travel and training line item into that of their association dues for APCO and NINA memberships. And if Chad were here, he could tell us what those mean. The commissioners are looking for a $327.60 transfer from the commissioners' contingency to that of commissioners' cable line item. The Prothonotary is requesting a $2,500 transfer from their contingency to that of their Staples account. Children and Youth Services is asking for a $401,200 transfer as follows. From their Family First Prevention line item, $130,000 to that of juvenile probation, community-based delinquent line item. From their ITG line item, $100,000 to that of juvenile probation institutional. From CYS foster care payments line item, $70,000 to JPO institutional. From their adoption subsidies line item, $30,000 to JPO institutional. From their purchase services line item, $65,000 to JPO institutional. From purchase services line item, $5,500 to client transportation. And the next line item, oh, it must be purchase services because it looks like it's the same number as above. Is that how you're reading it? If you
Right, yes.
Does that look similar?
Yes.
So I'm going to make the assumption that the next line item is also purchase services, $700 into water and sewage expense. Again, total $401,200. Let me keep going, unless there are any questions. Thank you. District Judge Russo, I believe this is, I think that's his signature, is asking for a $100 transfer from materials and supplies into that of bonds and insurance. Courts are asking for a total of $4,931. All of it's coming from their contingency into $2,000 for maintenance and repairs, $2,500 for court interpreters, and $431 for jurors. The district attorney's office would like to have a transfer of $1,112 from their transcripts line item into that of their toxicology line item. And then some miscellaneous ones for us to consider. From recycling's contingency, $8 into recycling's access land and building. In fact, all of these that they're going into are for the respective departments' access land and building. And all of them are coming from their respective contingencies, including veterans in the amount of $5, sheriffs in the amount of $75.81, jail, $16.37, public defender, $2.33, tax claim, $586.16, and the treasurer, $144.25.
There's one more page.
Oh, here we
It's on
are.
the second page.
Same thing, planning, asking for a transfer, $165.94 from their contingency to that of their access land and building, and that concludes the transfer requests. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
And Brian, any questions about any of them? Thank you. Loretta?
No.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you so much. Couple of announcements. The commissioners will once again meet in public a week from today, Tuesday, December 5 at 10 a.m. Everybody welcome to join us. On December 13, which is a Wednesday, the County Planning Commission will hold their regular monthly public meeting at the Crane Room Restaurant in Neshannock Township. As we noted earlier in the meeting, we voted to accept the resignation of Mr. Rick Myers from the County Housing Authority. Since it's an authority, we have an ordinance that governs how we handle vacancies. We are required to announce at 2 public meetings the vacancy. And anybody who is interested is can either send us a letter or come to a public meeting to express their interest. We, for authorities, we do require a criminal background check. So they must adhere or to allow for a criminal background check. And if they submit a letter of interest in writing, they have to include their social security number, which we redact once we are able to proceed. So there is an opening. You did hear us say that anybody from the county can apply.
Right.
Historically, we have given preference to someone from Elwood City because of the fact that their facilities located there. There's nothing requiring us to do that, but we do think we have felt that it's important for that reason to have somebody from the borough on the board. So I bless you.
Excuse me, thank you.
I do want to just note that for the record. We have 4 upcoming openings on the Lawrence County Industrial Development Authority. And I don't have those names in front of me. I don't know if you have them with you. If you don't have them today, Vanessa, maybe next week we can
Sure.
bring those along to see whose positions are opening. And then the Lawrence County Redevelopment Authority, we have one upcoming opening due to a term expiration. And that is Mr. Robert Donadio, who resides out in Neshannock Township. If I'm not mistaken, Amy McKinney indicated that he has expressed an interest in serving again. But I don't know if I have, do we have a letter from
We have
him?
an email.
Oh, we do,
I have
good,
the email.
great, thank you. However, other people are welcome to apply if they so desire, and we will have to announce it at the next meeting as well. So, but Brian or Loretta, regarding all those announcements, any thoughts or concerns?
No.
No, okay, thank you. Public comments, Mr. Bishop, you are our public now.
Well, thank you guys for voting on the Link Up Lawrence County to move that forward. I did make a meeting or mention of it at one of our township meetings. And I presented that same presentation that you guys did. And the people that were there were very happy and really looking forward to it. I did have one sort of negative comment. It was, by the time we get it, is it gonna be old technology? Which was,
That's a fair question.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
so, it was just sort of said in jest.
Yeah,
But there's validity to that, I
Yeah.
think.
So anyways, thank you for that. The other comment I have, our township has gone to a TV on the wall behind us, and we all have iPads, and we're doing that. I was amazed at one or two of the people on the group that have to be shown how to get into their iPad every week or every month and where it's at. So the one sits beside the other one says, okay, start here, turn around, okay, we're following down through here. And even the secretaries had some hesitation for some of that. But it does save an awful lot of paper. And the thing that we like about it is we have that on a shared account. And so you ask, okay, what happened here 7 months ago? What all did we do? Instead of looking for your paper that you put in a big file, you pull that up we have it by months. And you can go back to that month's meeting and pull up that information. So it's available to look at as history. So it is very good for that type of stuff. I did put our minutes clear back to 1996, I think it is, on ours, so that, everybody can go back and take a look at it within our board. So it has a lot of advantages. The disadvantages is the technology age of the person using it.
Sure.
So
But that's cut down on the number of paper copies you have to have for
Right.
meetings, though, correct?
we have no paper copies at all to me.
Very interesting.
I wish we were here to implement that, but I'll defer to the new
might
board.
be something to think
Yeah,
about.
something we can chat with the incoming.
I mean, it may be worth it to have some training of the person how to go down. I mean, if you use the iPad, they are fairly simple.
Right.
So, maybe some training to have that, and maybe come some understanding of how much easier this is to look back.
We appreciate your sharing that information with us.
Yes.
Very helpful.
Anyways, that's all comments I have.
Thank you, Mr. Bishop. Thank you so much. Closing comments from my fellow commissioners, Mr. Burek.
I was gonna say none, but I just wanted just to follow up on his comment about how technology is ever changing. It's probably happened to all of you. I just bought a new computer at home recently, and you get it home and you look, and it was manufactured literally 2 months ago. And the
Yes.
factory was installed with the latest software, and you get it home, and once you get it set up, it says check for updates. You check for updates. Already in a couple months' time, there's newer software versions and what's to download. So it's a never-ending battle, but
Right,
technology is great when it works, but you gotta have the user know how to use it, and
Yes.
the technology, the flaws have to get worked out.
that's it.
Thank you. Commissioner Spielvogel, any closing?
Nothing further, no. Thank you.
And my standard ending question, Vanessa or Joe, anything that you're aware of that we may have overlooked or that you would like to add?
No.
Thank you both. Appreciate everybody being here. Careful driving, but
Yes,
see y'all next week. May I have an adjournment motion?
So moved.
All
second.
those in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. The meeting's adjourned. Mr. Vanasco, if you wouldn't mind turning off the, we do live stream our meetings. And then they're recorded and people can go to YouTube, tonight or tomorrow, whenever, and watch them. As you can see, they're